Hello YouTube, Z-Manzilla here, and I've been having an interesting discussion on the SnapMap forums in regards to whether or not you can actually place demons on blocking volumes and what's involved with that. Now, I don't want to get into too many of the details here because I'm not trying to be combative or anything like that. I'm just trying to basically prove and show off once and for all that a thing can be done. And so what we're going to do here is I've started off with a completely blank grid room. There is no modifications. I've made no changes whatsoever to this blank room. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is get ourselves a blocking volume, just without, all right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to, let's resize it to about, just 300 by 300 ought to be enough, right? But I'm just trying to do this quickly because I don't want there to be any jump cuts. I don't want there to be any excuses. We're going to go ahead and put this about 400 high. 400 high seems like a good amount. All right, and let's give it a color. We're going to, well, first things first, let's render it as solid. Okay, now, the next thing we're going to do, now by default, all blocking volumes are set so that all the switches are true except block demons. That's always set to false. So what you got to do is you got to set that to true. So block demons is true. Boom, there we go. All right, next, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a spawner. All right, single demon and spawner. We'll go ahead and just put it here for now. It doesn't really matter where we put it. Okay, so, and then on demon spawned, we are going to teleport up here. Seems like a good spot. All right, boop. Now, let's go ahead and grab ourselves an interactable just to make things easy on ourselves here. And it doesn't have to be a fancy one. This one's fine, I guess. Well, you know what? I want to be one that touches the ground just because it's easier. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. There. All right. We'll go ahead and set that to allow reuse. Starts enabled, on used, spawn, encounter. Okay. That's all I have done. This is all we need to do. So you push the button, it's going to spawn the demon. As soon as the demon is spawned, it's going to teleport up here. Now, what sort of demon do we want to use? You know what? Just to be extra fancy here, why don't we grab a Mank? We'll grab a Cyber Mank because I happen to know for a fact that their behavior is a little better on these things. And for the purposes of testing, we are going to just crank the health and damage down to 1%. Just all right. So. Now we need a player start because it won't work otherwise, obviously. All right, and boop, doop, there we go. All right, so very simple setup, right? I don't think that anything I've done here is too out of the box or controversial. I've used no props, nothing. That is just one simple player blocking volume that has been manually set to block demons. That's the very important part. Okay, so now let's go ahead and play it and see what happens. Okay, and again, I've made no special modifications. I've added nothing. It's just one player blocking volume set to block demons. All right. Go over here, hit our spawner. Okay, the spawn thing happens up there, and oh, would you look at that? That is a demon standing on top of a player blocking volume with no prop work whatsoever. In fact, you want to even get fancier with it? Here's another fun experiment we can do here. Okay. So I mean, that worked, but to really blow some minds here, if you want to have some fun with it, you can even set it so it doesn't block players and set it to transparent. Make the color black. Now, there's other ways of doing this, but we're just trying to do simple here. But okay, it's completely invisible and no longer blocks players. Okay, so we won't even no blocking shots. It starts on true. It's static. That's fine. It blocks demons, and we'll even make it not block AI sight. Just for fancy times. All right. Now let's go ahead and run our experiment here again, and the expected behavior is that the demon will stand up on top of it, and furthermore, will look like he's sort of hovering in place. is the expected behavior. So, all right, so yeah, to our eyes, there's nothing here. We can even sort of, hey, we can walk around here all we want. Hey, check it out, do, okay. So, let's hit our button, spawn our demon. Boop. Hey, look at that. There's a demon standing up on top of a thing, and we can even stand under his butt. Look at that. Look at that. We are right underneath him. Like, he is standing on literally nothing. Okay? And hey, wow, would you look at that? He even managed to navigate a little bit. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. But, I mean, obviously, there's other factors in play and stuff, but the fact of the matter is, you can conclusively put a demon on top of a player blocking volume using nothing more than the blocking volume itself. Point proven, I think. Thank you. Alright. So again, we didn't have to do anything too special to make that happen. Right? I mean, we didn't put any props underneath. We didn't really do anything too crazy there. There are some things to consider with this technique, obviously. Like you notice, for example, that he did just sort of walk off the edge there. There is still some navigation that they can do up there. Most of it is in response to the proper floor of the module. All right, so like for example, like okay, so when you notice how your little arrow turns red when you try to take it off the ground, the closer you get here, you see that sort of like glowing green grid there. That signifies the surface that the mobs can see. This is what they use to navigate. All right, and if they can see that or be aware of it, then they're going to try to, navigate in relation to it. And these just kind of mess with them. They don't know how to deal with these. Now, the AI that would make it so they know how to deal with these, I mean, I'm not a professional programmer. I wouldn't know exactly what's completely involved in doing that. I imagine it would be quite a task, especially if you consider the near infinite combinations of player blocking volumes and positions and all that other stuff that a player could do, and how difficult it would be to test for that, and then, get back to what the, return on investment for all of that building and designing and programming and testing would be for Bethesda ID. Or Bethesda id, or however you want to pronounce it. The point is that the reason, I believe at the very least, why you're not going to see this feature being implemented in any sort of way is because of how, just how intense that would be to do. Now, let's do one other experiment here, because I'm just, shoop, all right, and then let's take this and make the size, we'll make the height like, 80 or something, just much thinner, and we'll go ahead and raise it up a little bit, so this way it's not even touching the ground anymore. Alright, so it's not even touching the ground at this point. It's just a blocking volume that's just floating in midair, set to block demons. And and again, I feel like I have to show all of these sort of use cases and situations, because I really do feel like the conversation has gotten to a point where, like it just has to be shown. Look, I mean, demons can stand on player blocking volumes. So, now here's an interesting thing that I'm observing here, just from this experiment, is he doesn't seem to be as willing to navigate. I'm not sure what made him navigate before, but now they fall through when they die, because the corpses don't respond differently. But, there he is. You can do this as many times as you want. You can, and it will stay up there. And, oh wow, the corpse actually stayed up there this time. That was, that's not expected behavior, but hey, whatever. It still sort of proves the point. So anyway, this has been Z-Manzilla, and again, please feel free to try this experiment at home. Again, the key to making it work is that by default, the player blocking volumes are set to not block demons. They block everything but demons when you first make them. You have to go in and modify them, and that's always been sort of the point of SnapMap to begin with, is that you have to, there's all of these sort of little bits and bobs and options on the back end, and you use them to sort of create the map experience you want to create. So, all right, point has been made. Thank you.